everybody, my name is Chalene Johnson. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm a New York Times bestselling author, and what I do is help people build businesses. I'm going to give you my tips on how not to be annoying in business. Number one is just always be honest, because every single product, service, seminar, etc. that you go to is not 100%, 1,000% amazing. So when you give pros and cons, give the good and the bad. That way you are trusted. Number two, be the trusted source on all things, not just your business. Meaning, if you are a helpful person who likes to share all great tips, the best place to go to dinner, you're the ultimate hanger, the blender that you love, and you're just that person, you just always want to share what's working and why something isn't working, then you become very trusted, and people, you don't have to sell. Number three is you have to be you. So I just started off this, Periscope, by rapping and pretending that I was Rihanna and just dub smashing because I can't sing. And so if I was always all perfect and pretended like I didn't listen to rap music and stuff like that, it's just not authentic. And so I'm going to attract people who eventually, when they see the real me, they're not going to like me, So you have to be authentically you, because it's 1,000 times easier to be authentically you than to be something you're not. The other thing I want to say about being authentic and approachable is, if you're annoying and, I am sure I am annoying to some people, but I'm me. So the people who are going to be attracted to me are I get her. I understand. I'm kind of like that too. And then the people who find me annoying, hopefully I don't have to do business with them, because I don't want to change who I am. So I would rather right up front have you be annoyed with me, and so we can both save ourselves a whole bunch of time. But I'm going to be annoying in the most authentic of ways. I'm not going to try to be something I'm not. I'm not going to pretend, because I can't keep that up. So I would rather you be super annoyed by me and then leave or stick around. Right, Brett Johnson?
Right.
They can't see you. Mwah.
They can see me now.
Oh, it's not that kind of a scope, sir. Next was, never sell. If you have to sell, it's too early. You've done something wrong. You should not have to sell. You want to be the kind of person who I will beat people over the head when I think something is this is going to change your life. You just need to invest in a better blender. You need a Vitamix. And so I'm not selling it, but I'm just one of those people who gets super passionate and fired up, and I freak out about things that I know are super life-changingly cool, like Periscope. Periscope is dope, y'all. And I think it's going to be a game changer. I think that no one should have wire hangers. I'm serious. You should all have huggable hangers. And I talk about them endlessly because they're amazeballs. And so when I am really excited about something, I'm always talking about it, but then I don't have to sell. So but that takes time. And that can be frustrating to people. People are like, well, but I'm not getting any customers. I'm not going to lie to you. It does take time, but you shorten that. Listen to what I'm about to say. You shorten that time frame by being in social media consistently and knowing your niche and knowing your message and serving other people, not selling to them. My next tip is offer a money-back guarantee, right? If you think your product or whatever it is you're pitching is so great, well, then tell people, if you don't love it, I'll give you your money back. I mean, that's a lot of times when someone says that about something, I'm like, well, what do I have to lose? And if you're not willing to put your money behind your mouth, then I don't know, maybe it's not that great, right? My next tip is always be about others. So many people are on social media blabbering away. You have to be about other people, and the only way you can do this is by shutting up and listening to what they want. So the Periscope we just did 5 minutes before this one, I said, what do you want to talk about? And you could probably tell I wanted to talk about Periscope. But you didn't. You wanted to talk about how not to be annoying in business. So I had to make it about you and not about me. And that's what you have to do. You have to talk to people. You have to ask them questions. Cool. So my next tip was take charge of the relationship when it comes to business. For example, what I just did is called taking charge. So it's when you go on a date with someone, and I haven't been on a first date in 25 years. That guy is the last time I went on a date, and I'm going to go on a date with him tonight. But I assume that when you go on a date, because I did have some dates before I married this guy, when you go on a date and you're so it's the end of the date, and so who's going to decide if we go out again? Like everyone is looking for a leader. Everyone is looking for someone who they can feel safe with. And we like being around people who take charge because, and you know this, you have certain friends where you're like, you don't have to worry about anything because they're going to handle things. They're going to take charge. They're going to know the directions. They're going to also keep track of what time you're supposed to show up. And in business, people want you to take charge. So that doesn't mean you push people into a sale, but it means that you need to be the leader. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about when you go into a dressing room and you try on an outfit and you don't want the sales lady going, no, that's so cute, that's so cute. Like to everything you have on, you want someone to say, I'm not a fan of that one. You need to get that one. You need to get that one in every color. When a sales clerk says that to me, I'm like, you're in charge. You know, I'm looking for some leadership. Take charge means that when you do have a video or you Periscope, you say to people, hey, be sure to check out my next Periscope tomorrow morning, all about why it's so important to get away with your spouse without the kids. So you're telling them what's coming up next, and you get them excited about it and say, you better tune in, I want to make sure you're there, or you're just telling them where the relationship is going next. So for example, if you are loving Periscope, you just haven't quite figured it out yet, but you relate to my style, and you think you'd get along with me or whatever. You like my teaching style, because there's a lot of, listen, I'm new to this game, everybody else is too, but I'm not new to social media. I've got one of the top selling Instagram courses on the web. We make about, I shouldn't say our earnings, but we help a lot of people crush it on Instagram with more than one account, like multiple accounts on Instagram. So I know what social media platforms are going to pop, and that means that I haven't said that about any social media platform until Periscope. And so it's been like 4 years since I thought something was going to pop. And everyone keeps saying, what's the next big thing? I'm like, I don't know. Now I can say it's Periscope. So then by taking charge, what I'm saying now is saying, this is it. You know, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And then I lose some integrity. But I have to believe in it so firmly that I'm willing to take a stance and fall on my face, but I'm going to wait. And that's why you haven't heard me say that about any social media platform. And that's why I don't think anything's popped yet. No, but I think Periscope, I think you all are early settlers. Set up your niche account now. Start broadcasting and having people tune in because they know what they can expect from you, because there's millions of people here and nobody's broadcasting, everybody's watching. In business, like right now, what I would say is go to Periscope is dope. That's me taking charge. I'm not selling anything, but I'm saying I'm trying to be a leader and tell people, okay, I think for most of us, you can probably avoid Snapchat. I wanted to like Snapchat. I desperately wanted to like Snapchat, but I just don't think it's a place to recommend to people. All right, my next tip is, you ready? So that was the 6th tip, I believe, and that was take charge. My next one is make people feel safe. Because there's so many things vying for our attention in social media, on TV. There's so many people doing what you do. There's so many people doing what I do. And, you know, we don't be upset if things don't work quick for you, because you have to see someone a lot of times before you trust them, unless they're really good at being authentic, right? And when we're not, you know how this is. You've got people probably in your circle of friends who are always around you, but you really don't quite, they're like you just don't really know who they are. So even though they've given you no indication that there's something wrong or unsafe about them, you just aren't like 100% secure around them because you don't really know them. Or they are always selling something. I think you have to be very transparent. As someone just said there, you have to make people safe. And the only way you can make people feel safe is if you're being honest. We're looking for honesty, right? And that's why I love Periscope, because you look in my eyes and you look at my body language and my voice, and we've got this like radar, like this meter that's constantly scanning people and going, are you going to screw me? Are you going to take advantage of me? Is this BS? Because I want to be safe. I think I learned this, you might not know this about me, but I used to sell cars. I used to be a used car saleswoman. I started doing it when I was 15 years old. I started flipping used cars. So being a young teenage girl, basically, petite, 5'2", blonde, 15-year-old girl with her own money, buying and selling cars, I got really, really good at emotional intelligence and looking at people and going, is this person safe? And realizing that's what people want when they were going to buy a car. They're like, is this person safe? And I had a lot of success because I think most people figured a 15-year-old or 16-year-old or 17-year-old girl was pretty safe. And what makes people feel safe and secure is honesty. And you blow it once, good luck getting it back. There's nothing worse than being lied to. Am I right? All right, so let me give you that recap real quick, okay? And then I'm going to answer your questions. Here's my recap, and thank you for those of you who are recapping it here. Number one, just be honest in general when you're in social media, and that means pros and cons. I mean, I'll never forget that I watched a review. Someone was giving a review on my program Turbo Fire, and I loved it because it was a dude, and he was like, okay, I did the program for a couple weeks, and I just got to tell you, I'm sure it works. And I'm sure that people love this. And I know a lot of people are getting great results. He goes, I didn't like it. I don't like moving fast. I don't like music. I'm not coordinated. She's too peppy for me. And I thought, that's a guy who I would want to be my leader because he's totally being honest. Like, especially if you're repping someone else's products, whatever it is, necklaces, candles, soaps, workouts, supplements, if you're in love with everything, really, that's just not honest. No, you're not. Don't lie. Okay, yeah, I thought it was really cool. I thought that was cool to be honest. And so I'm always honest with you guys. Like I always tell people, we use Infusionsoft as our email provider, but I hate it and I love it. Number two, be the trusted source on all things. So if people are only time they ever hear from you is when you have something to sell, not just because you're like, hey, you guys, I found the most incredible protein bar, or you have got to see this movie, or I just found the best deal ever on a blah, blah, blah. Well, if people know you're the trusted source, then you're never selling. You're always suggesting things that you know make people's lives better. Number three is you have to be you, which means you are going to be annoying. Because if you're trying not to be you, that's inauthentic, and you'll attract people who eventually will fall out of love with you once they see the real side of you. That's why I started this Periscope off with like some Rihanna and rap music, and you have to know who I am, because I don't want to have to be anyone other than me and have you be annoyed by me later. I'd rather, it's so much more fun to don't you have so much more fun when you're hanging out with your friends and you can let your hair down and be who you are? Isn't that the best? That's how you should conduct business. And will you annoy some people? Yeah. Good, because you didn't want to hang out with them anyways. Yep, my number 4 tip was you should never be selling. You can explain and suggest, but if you have to sell, then there's something wrong. People should be asking, hey, when is Smart Success? Hey, do you have a course on Instagram? Hey, I'm wondering, when can I go to Marketing Impact? When can I get into that? Like that's where we're at now. And so yes, once a year, I offer it passionately, but I'm never selling something, because I think the only time you're selling something is when you're desperate and you're not talking to people about something that really makes their lives better. Number 5 is money back guarantee. You know, if you're talking me into something, but you're not going to tell me that if I don't like it, I get my money back. And I know that might be something you can't do if you're in an MLM. I know a lot of you are. I don't know how that works. But for me, if I'm going to offer you something, I'm going to say, if this doesn't work for you the way that I said that it does, then I'll give you your money back, because I need to be able to put my money where my mouth is. Number 6 was take charge of the relationship. By that, be the leader. You know, say to people when you're doing a Periscope, hey, if you enjoyed this, please share it. You don't say it throughout your broadcast, because then the content is you sharing and begging for hearts, which isn't great content, right? But same thing is true when you send out an email to your customers. Tell them what happens next. When people watch one of your videos on Facebook, tell them what happens next. It's just like going on a date with someone. Tell them, hey, I'd like to go out with you again sometime. I hope you enjoyed this. Let people know what comes next. We're all looking for someone who will take charge. Even if it's you trying on dresses in a department store, you want the sales lady to go, I don't like that one on you. That one you should get 2 of. Get 2. Okay, my next comment to you is that when it comes to business, people just want to feel safe. They just, we're all inundated with people who are talking to us and pop-ups and ads that show up in our Facebook stream and, people suggesting this and that. And there's so many things vying for our attention. And so there's a couple of things you need to keep in mind. The first is people need to see you many times before they actually feel like they're starting to trust you, because they don't know you. And we don't trust people who we don't know. I can feel like I might trust someone, but I need time. I need to spend some time watching you, listening to you, hearing how you respond to questions, and then I'm going to decide if you're safe. Like, even above and beyond being likable, people have to feel safe with you, secure with you. And I learned this when I was a used car saleswoman at the age of 15 and 16 and 17. That's how I put myself through college. And I think I did really well in that industry because most people felt like a young girl wasn't going to take advantage of them. And I got really good at reading people's body language, and I knew when I was about to be taken advantage of. And we're all looking for that. We're all super nervous about getting ripped off, right? Or being duped. Like, there's nothing worse than when you give someone your trust and then they betray it. It sucks. And then you're mad at yourself because your intuition was off, right? So you have to make people feel safe and secure, and you do that by showing up over and over and over and having integrity, being a person of your word. So you'll never see me recommend something I don't use and don't believe in, because I can't get your trust back if I do that. Can I make a quick buck? Yeah, but it's not worth it, because I want to do this for the rest of my life and I want to take care of people. So I'm not gonna take that risk. And I feel like I'm taking a risk right now because I'm telling everyone I found it, like, for 4 years, every single interview that I do, every opportunity I have to speak at a summit regarding social media, interviews, you name it, people are always saying, hey, what's the next big thing in social media? Because I was one of the early settlers at Instagram, and at one point I was like, should I just make something up? Should I just say what everybody else is saying is going to be hot? Should I just say Snapchat because, Gary Vaynerchuk says Snapchat? And I'm like, I just don't think there is anything right now. I still think it's, at the time, Facebook, even though I sell a course on Instagram, and of course Instagram, but I haven't said anything until Periscope. So that's like taking a risk, and I have to hope that you feel safe with me, and that I'm here too, and I think this is the place to be if you're looking to be that person that people feel safe and secure with, because you can look in my eyes, and you can look at body language, and you just learn a lot about someone when you're sitting across the table from them. You need to be the kind of person who's passionate and on fire about. P.S. I would never be on The Real Housewives, ever. But thank you for saying that. Hell no. Those people are weird. God bless them, but they need attention. I think it's terrible for your family. I think it's terrible for your marriage, but I love it, and I watch it every day. And I love all those train wrecks. And whenever they call and try to talk me into being on The Housewives, they're like, we need someone who can be like classy and won't flip a table. I'm like, oh, I'll flip a table. Trust me. And I don't want that to be on TV.